Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The talk around the league has exploded in a way nobody expected, and honestly, it feels like one of those moments when the NFL universe just tilts on its axis. You're scrolling through your feed, sipping your coffee, achando que vai ser so mesmo rumor sem graca, and suddenly the headline hits you like a freight train. Nick Bosa, Sim, El Mesmo, supostamente fechando como Miami Dolphins, and the second that rumor leaked, the football world didn't just react, it detonated. Imagine the sheer chaos. The frantic DMs, the endless group chats, the fan pages surtando. Everyone's asking the same thing: how is it even possible to put both BOSA brothers under the same NFL roof? Wearing the same colors, hunting quarterbacks side by side, the vibe is pure electric speculation. And the tension in the air feels like the beginning of a blockbuster season nobody was ready for. Fans are already imagining the iconic moments, the mic'd-up energy, the post-game celebrations. Como se estives todo press of varar realidade diani dos ojos delis, and if you stop to think about it for even a seconds, the Dolphins going from fast to absolutely terrifying overnight suddenly doesn't seem so impossible anymore. What's making this rumor even juicier is the way insiders are describing Nick's supposed mindset. They're not talking about a quiet arrival, a subtle transition, or that corporate-friendly looking forward to contributing nonsense. No, the word floating around is terror, as in Nick allegedly walked into conversations with the Dolphins not just wanting to join the team, but wanting to unleash something brutal, visceral, and unforgettable on every offense they face. And when you combine that mentality with the raw, relentless power of Joey already established as a force in his own right, it's like mixing gasoline with a lit match inside a locked room. Fans are already painting mental images of the brothers lining up side by side, exchanging that silent "not only siblings understand," and then crashing into offensive lines with the kind of synchronized destruction that changes entire game plans before halftime. Whether it's true or just a delicious fever dream spreading across social media, the rumor has officially become bigger than just a signing. It's become a movement, a fantasy, a storyline begging to be real, and the Dolphins fanbase, muy amigo, they have entered full meltdown mode, but in the best possible way. They've gone from hopeful to hysterical, from wishful thinking to producing artwork, edits, and mock-ups faster than insiders can deny anything. The idea of the BOSA brothers transforming Miami's defense into a nightmare factory is spreading like wildfire, and every little maybe, every vague emoji posted by any player only throws more gasoline onto the blaze. People are dissecting body language, flight trackers, Instagram likes, all those beautiful methods the internet invented to pretend it's doing investigative journalism, while actually just feeding the hype machine. And Miami fans, coitados, they're dreaming big. They're imagining a defense so suffocating opponents start begging for mercy before the second quarter. They're imagining quarterbacks hearing phantom footsteps in their sleep. They're imagining the Dolphins not just competing, but redefining what a dominant front seven looks like. And honestly, quam culper. Meanwhile, across the league, rival fan bases are trying desperately to play it cool, but bro, they're sweating. You can see it in the comments, the forced jokes, the "they won't actually do that" tweets. Deep down, everyone knows that if this rumor somehow solidifies into reality, everything changes. Offensive coordinators would need therapy. Running backs would start reconsidering career choices. Even superstar quarterbacks might suddenly find themselves checking their protection calls with a little more anxiety than usual. The dynamic between the brothers adds that extra layer of chaos. They don't just play the game, they elevate each other. It's like they feed off the energy, the competition, the shared mission. And defenses built on chemistry, explosiveness, and bloodline synergy, those are the ones offenses fear the most. Because there's no scheme that truly prepares you for two elite pass rushers who think alike, react alike, and thrive on overwhelming you from both edges. But the craziest part of this whole rumor isn't just the potential impact on the field, it's the way it feels, almost cinematic. Picture it: Nick stepping off the plane, lights flashing, reporters yelling questions he pretends not to hear, Joey waiting for him somewhere in the facility, maybe with that stoic look he always has, but with the tiniest smirk hidden under the surface because he knows exactly what's about to go down. The Dolphins making some dramatic social media announcement with slow motion clips, roaring highlights, and maybe even a cheeky line about a family reunion. And then boom, the whole football world collapses into chaos. You can practically hear the reaction videos, the watch parties, the podcasts scrambling to rewrite their preseason predictions. It's the kind of storyline that writes itself. The kind of rumor that feels too good to be real but too loud to ignore. And until someone officially denies it, the dream only gets stronger. There's also this undercurrent of energy. Among the players themselves, rumors of whispers in locker rooms, curious glances, sly comments like "did you hear?" and "no way that's actually happening." It's spreading through the league like a schoolyard secret nobody wants to admit. They're dying to know the answer to. Some defenders are supposedly hyped at the idea, imagining what it would be like to prepare for Miami with the BOSA brothers bearing down like a pair of storm fronts merging into one catastrophic force. Others, mainly on the offensive side of the ball, are allegedly laughing nervously, like haha yeah that'd be wild, while praying to every football god that the rumor fizzles out. Coaches, they're pretending not to care, but insiders claim at least a few have already pulled out extra film, just in case, because if this thing actually becomes reality, no one wants to be caught unprepared. What's giving this rumor even more weight is the way Nick's supposed camp has been acting. Quiet, strategic, almost theatrical. There's this eerie silence that insiders can't quite decipher, like everyone close to him has suddenly taken a vow of secrecy. And that's exactly the kind of behavior that sends the internet into absolute delirium. When a player is really not making a move, there's chatter, there's noise, there's harmless leaks. But when things get to quiet, that's when the conspiracy theories start multiplying like crazy. People start imagining closed-door meetings, secret phone calls, coded social media posts. Every little thing becomes a clue, a breadcrumb. And in the middle of all that chaos sits the rumor that Nick Bosa is ready to team up with his brother, not just to play football, but to dominate the league with a vengeance that borders on mythological. The silence becomes the soundtrack to a story fans can't stop telling themselves. And then you have the Dolphins organization, which isn't helping at all, in the best possible way. Miami has built a reputation for being flashy, aggressive, and fearless when it comes to bold moves. And that fuels the rumor even more. Fans are replaying every previous blockbuster acquisition, every shock signing, every moment the Dolphins zigged when everyone expected them to zag. And because of that history, the idea of bringing in Nick Bosa doesn't feel impossible. It feels like the next logical step in a franchise hungry to reinvent its identity. Some insiders even claim that the Dolphins front office has been unusually upbeat lately, dropping subtle hints in press conferences, smirking at the right moments, dodging questions with suspiciously vague answers, and whenever a front office gets coy, the rumor cycle goes into overdrive. But the heart of this entire story, the reason it refuses to die, is the brotherhood element. Fans love star players, they love big trades, they love dramatic signings. But nothing hits quite like family teaming up. There's something primal in the idea of two brothers joining forces, two elite athletes sharing the same mission, the same helmet, the same hunger for destruction. It taps into something emotional, almost mythic. You imagine them training together, exchanging stories, building strategies that only make sense to them. You imagine them communicating on the field without words, reacting in perfect sync like two halves of the same force of nature. It's the kind of storyline Hollywood would greenlight instantly. And the NFL isn't stupid. The marketing potential is enormous. Jerseys would fly off shelves. Primetime slots would be practically guaranteed. And every single game would feel like a spectacle. The defensive possibilities, according to rumor-addicted analysts, are almost unfair. They're imagining Miami building schemes specifically around the brothers, creating a front that rotates, shifts, and explodes with a level of unpredictability that keeps offenses guessing every snap. You know that feeling when you're playing a video game and you suddenly unlock a pair of overpowered characters? That's the energy people are projecting onto Miami's defense right now. They're picturing Nick and Joey collapsing pockets in stereo, forcing quarterbacks to roll directly into the path of the other. They're imagining running backs getting swallowed up before they even make their first cut. They're imagining offensive lines calling timeouts out of pure desperation. And the craziest part, none of this is confirmed. It's all rumor, and still, it feels dangerously plausible. Fans from other teams are scrambling to downplay the idea. But deep down, they're calculating what their offenses would even look like facing a defense anchored by the BOSA brothers. Some are joking about triple teams becoming standard. Others are posting memes of quarterbacks hiding under benches, and as silly as it sounds, those jokes are dripping with anxiety because even if this signing never happens, the fact that it's even possible is a reminder that the league is shifting, power is moving, ambitious teams are no longer afraid to take massive swings, and the thought of Miami emerging as a new defensive juggernaut has everyone watching closely, silently praying that their team doesn't become the first victim of a BOSA-powered storm surge that has the potential to drown entire game plans before they even settle into rhythm. And as the rumor keeps gaining traction, one thing becomes obvious: whether Nick actually signs with Miami or not, the excitement has already done something powerful. It has reignited the imagination of fans, re-energized debates, revived that old-school NFL drama that makes the league feel alive even in the quietest moments. People are dreaming, arguing, analyzing, creating scenarios, painting cinematic possibilities in their minds. And at the center of it all are the BOSA brothers, two forces of nature whose mere hypothetical reunion is enough to shake the entire football ecosystem. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. But right now, the rumor is alive, breathing, and dominating every conversation, and until someone steps forward to kill it, fans everywhere will keep whispering the same thing: imagine the terror, still with us. Then show some love, hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? There's also this fascinating shift happening in the media landscape as the rumor grows. Analysts who usually play it safe are suddenly dipping into poetic mode, talking about destiny, legacy, and the kind of storyline that reshapes an era. It's hilarious and dramatic at the same time. You turn on any sports talk show now, and someone's already bringing up the idea of the BOSA brothers rewriting what we think a defensive duo can be. Commentators are using phrases like once-in-a-generation pairing and a defensive evolution disguised as a family reunion, even though nobody actually knows if a contract was signed or if the whole thing is just a beautifully chaotic misunderstanding. But that's the magic of it. The rumor has become bigger than the truth. It's taken on a life of its own, mutating into a nebulous cloud of hope, fear, excitement, and pure football mythology. And the media, instead of pumping the brakes, is slamming its foot on the gas, spinning the wheel wildly, and seeing just how far the storyline can stretch before reality steps in. At this point, even the silence from official sources feels like a deliberate tease, pushing the suspense to almost cinematic levels. What's even wilder is the emotional avalanche hitting the fanbase. Dolphin supporters are floating somewhere between delirious hope and spiritual enlightenment, already picturing themselves telling future generations about the moment they first heard the rumor. They're imagining banners, chants, celebrations, and defensive highlights replayed for years. Some are already talking like the deal is done, arguing over what number Nick would wear, how Miami's identity would change, how opposing offenses would adjust, even how the locker room chemistry would evolve with two alpha-level brothers anchoring the trenches. On the flip side, rival fans are experiencing a different kind of emotional roller coaster, a blend of denial, panic, and a desperate attempt to convince themselves that the league would never allow something this unfair to happen. Social media has turned into a battlefield of coping mechanisms, memes, sarcastic comments, exaggerated confidence, and the classic "this won't matter anyway" speech that only comes out when fans are secretly terrified. The emotional intensity proves something crucial. This rumor struck a nerve deeper than anyone expected, and maybe that's the real power of this whole situation, not whether Nick Bosa actually signs, but how the rumor has exposed something essential about football culture. Fans crave stories that transcend the field, that feel bigger than the sport itself. They crave family legacies, epic partnerships, dynastic energy. The idea of the BOSA brothers uniting taps into that primal hunger for narrative, for spectacle, for something that feels almost mythical in a league dominated by contracts, analytics, and strategy. It reminds people that football isn't just a game, it's a living, breathing drama filled with twists, surprises, and iconic moments that imprint themselves into the collective memory. And right now, this rumor, real or not, is giving fans a taste of that magic. It's giving the league a spark, a jolt, a storyline that refuses to die. Whether it ends with an official announcement or fades into football folklore, one thing is undeniable: the world has gotten a glimpse of what could happen if two of the most feared pass rushers of their generation decide to unleash chaos side by side. And that thought alone is enough to keep the rumor alive, echoing through every conversation with the same whispered phrase: imagine the terror. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!